Hello, I'm here with Trent today to talk about colleges and how actual college life is so far. So Trent, first thing, is college as hard as everybody makes it out to be?
All right, it kind of depends because the classes you're taking and the timing in the semester puts a lot into that. So, for instance, the beginning of the semester, you're going to go in, you're going to think it's super easy. Because just like in high school, you're going to go over policies, procedures, and the syllabus, which you actually have to go by your syllabi in college. Like, they're very, very, very important. So, those first couple classes, you might only actually be in class for like 20 minutes. And your class could actually end up being an hour and 15 minutes on your schedule. So it's kind of hard to say because once you get further into the semester, like this previous week, I had my midterms. That was not fun. That was not easy. So it depends on where you're at in the semester and what you have coming.
How many classes are you taking right now?
Right now, I'm taking a total of 15 or 16 credit hours because you have to have a minimum of 15 to receive financial aid. But I believe I'm taking 7 classes.
That's a lot. Okay, so what time does your class start and what time do you normally get out of your classes or lectures?
Okay, so that's also a big thing that depends because it's not like you'll have the same class for every day of the week. It's not like a high school block schedule. So, for instance, I have classes on Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays, and have other classes on just Tuesdays and Thursdays. But there's some mornings I have to be up at 4:30 in the morning because in ROTC, we're up and ready to PT by 6 a.m. So those mornings, which right now is 3 times a week, I'm up really early, and then right after that I have an 8 a.m. The other mornings, most of the time I have a 9 a.m., so no matter what, I'm normally up pretty early.
Yeah. Well, geez. It's not as early as 7 o'clock in the morning, though.
Yeah, that's fair. I don't have class at 7 o'clock in the morning.
I hate waking up early.
It's...
And then classes at the end of the day, so you normally get out, you don't get out at 3 o'clock, do you? You get out
Oh, no. So most of the time, I'm out of class by about 1:30, 2 o'clock. And I have big gaps in between most of my classes. So, I'll have a 9 a.m. that lasts, or actually I have a 9:10. So it ends at 10 a.m. And then I won't have another class till about 12:40, and that ends at 1:30, and then I'm done for the day. So, but I do have one really, really busy day in the week, and it's Thursdays. Thursdays, I'm up till 4:30, or up at 4:30, and I normally won't get back to my dorm till 7 at night on a lucky day, on a lucky Thursday.
Okay, so how's the homework? Do you have a lot of it that you have to do outside of class, or?
So that mostly actually depends on the professors. So in my history and appreciation of music class, we get one homework assignment a week, or we'll have one test that week. We'll only have one assignment each week. For my psychology class, we may have 3 assignments a week, but it depends on how many chapters we get through and how many chapters we actually read. For my history class, we don't really, our only homework is to just read our book and read our course readers or watch any videos that we have to do. We don't even actually have homework besides studying in that class. So there's no set, you're going to be doing this, and this for every class this week. It's, for the most part, my homework is decently spaced out. There's some weeks where I'll have more than others, of course, but in college it's a bit different because you don't have homework grades and assignments that you do in class and then tests.
It's all a part of your just one grade.
Right. And a lot of the times in college, your test grades are going to be worth a whole lot more of your overall grade than it was in high school. Like, you may have a class that 70% of your grade, I mean, that may be pushing it, 70% of your grade is your test grades, and then the other 30 may be assignments and then homework or quizzes and assignments. I mean, that's pushing it. 70 is a lot, but that's just they can be worth a whole lot more of your grade. Like, if you just absolutely bomb every test, you could fail just by bombing 1 or 2 tests. I mean, they're worth a lot of your actual overall grade.
Y'all, I'm already scared for college, but the biggest thing is, like, have you ever been late to a class, and how big is your college campus? Or is it big or is it small? Because I know you go to a university.
Yeah, I go to Mississippi State University. So the campus itself is pretty large, but the buildings are generally in the same area. I mean, you still may have 15, 20-minute walks to each class, but generally everything's within 2 or 3 blocks. For most classes, that is. This year is pretty easy, or this semester is pretty easy for me because like half of my classes are actually in one building specifically, and it's right next to my dorm. But have I been late? I haven't been late to a class. Have I missed a class? Possibly.
What do you mean by possibly?
I've missed a class before.
I mean, yeah.
I've definitely missed a class. But I haven't been late to a class. Most of the time, I have my time set. I always try to get to class at least 10, 15 minutes early. That way you can get a good seat, because I have specific seats in each of my classes that I like to sit in. But also, showing up to class early and your professor walking in or already being in there and seeing you in there early, like, it'll show that he'll see your face more and he'll recognize you more, or he or she will recognize you more. And if you're having problems, he'll recognize, like, oh, you're coming to class early, like, you're here to get your stuff done, I'll help you out. Rather than somebody that's showing up right on time every day, he's not going to notice that person. So I always try to show up to my classes early. I haven't been late to a class.
Dorm situations, dorm living. You got to share a room, you got your own. You got to share a room, probably?
Share. So I got a random roommate, and he's actually super cool. We're really cool with each other. We have a lot of common interests. It's kind of weird how much we actually have in common. So it was definitely kind of freaky at first, because, like, we're both pretty interested in shoes, to say the least. We actually have a couple pairs that are the same shoe.
Twin day.
So it was pretty interesting. And then, like, I mean, just random facts, like, we've both broke our right leg. Like, just weird stuff like that.
Voodoo?
Like, it was pretty weird just getting to know him. Like, we've had a lot of similarities happen in our lives.
I really hope I don't get a trashy roommate, because...
Yeah, I hope you don't get a trashy roommate either. I know a couple people like that.
Not like trashy in the sense that, like, they throw trash everywhere, but trashy in the sense that, like, they're rude or, like, snotty, or... I can't deal with those types of people.
Yeah.
I'll end up saying something. Especially living with them.
Yeah, I haven't had a problem with my roommate, honestly. I mean, I know people that have had problems with theirs. It's really just a hit or miss type thing if you're going into something with a random person. So you're taking a 50-50 shot. But, I mean, if you know somebody that you want to room with, you can room with them, as long as you do it early enough. And then when you're actually going to select your room, as long as both of you have confirmed each other as roommates, the person with the earliest time slot to select a room can pick the room. Another strange coincidence, I was supposed to be rooming with an old friend of mine that used to go to Horn Lake as well. His name was Kobe. Well, me and him couldn't get the same room because of some weird faulty errors on the time slots. So I ended up having to get the room myself, and he did end up getting a room basically just the same but in a different dorm hall. And then I get my roommate, and his name is also Kobe. I'm serious. It is truly strange.
No way.
The coincidences.
There's a glitch in the system somewhere.
It was definitely strange. I was not expecting that at all.
I'm trying to think of more questions to ask you because I'm running out.
Let's see if I can.
Okay, y'all got desks, or you got those long rows in the chairs in your classrooms?
Okay, it depends. So some classes you'll have, they're kind of small. Like I have 2 classes that are actually like a regular classroom that you would think about in high school.
Mm-hmm.
Granted, the tables are actually a lot smaller. Like we're talking like maybe this big around. And you have your notebook, or I prefer in some classes to take notes, pen, and paper. And then some classes I like to use my laptop for them. But on those small desks, I don't like to bring my laptop out because I don't want it to fall and break. So a lot of those classes I'll take pen and paper notes. But in my bigger classes, or actually only in one of my classes, my psychology class, where we have a lot of people. It's an actual, when you think of college and you think about lecture rooms, that's what I'm in my psychology class. And it's just one long table with seats that come out kind of like in the multi-purpose room, how they just swing out, you sit down, just like that.
Yeah, I took psychology as like an elective in dual credit, and it was actually pretty easy. It was interesting and easy.
So the thing about dual credit, most of dual credit is done through community colleges, isn't it?
Yeah.
So a big thing between community colleges and universities, university classes are going to tend to be harder. So I would personally recommend, I took 4 dual enrollment classes, and Mississippi State took all 4 of them. So if you're wanting to do something like that, I would highly suggest taking dual enrollment classes as soon as you can and as many as you can get out of the way. I took Comp 1, Comp 2, College Algebra, and Public Speaking. And Mississippi State took all of them.
Also, y'all, I don't know if anybody knows this. A lot of people know this, but just to make sure it's out there, and especially the freshmen who probably don't know, pro tip, go to a community college for your first 2 years of college, because of the fact that those classes, you take the same classes that you would there you take the same classes at the community college that you would take at a university. So like your Englishes, your maths, your electives that you would need for those first 2 years, because those first 2 years you're not taking classes that you need towards your major yet. So that's at the end of your sophomore, beginning of your junior year, right? And then,
yeah, so I'm gonna butt in real quick right there. So a lot of your first 2 years in college, whether you're in a community college, which is only 2 years, or a university, which is typically 4 years unless you want to go further into it, your first 2 years is generally going to be your general courses that you're going to have to take for almost no matter what degree you want to get. So that'll be like your Englishes, your maths, your history, or you may end up having to take more maths if you major in math like I am right now, or you may have to take more histories. But generally, you'll be taking more general courses in your first and second year, more so your first year and your fall semester in your second year, and then in your spring semester, your second year, is when you're going to actually start getting into more things that are specific to your degree.
Yeah, and then the normal classes that you would take at your community college for those first 2 years, they're cheaper there at the community college, they're easier, and the probability of you having a smaller class is pretty high because community colleges are normally pretty small, I'm assuming. But yeah, but also take dual credit because that's a lot of your like first freshman year courses. So like dual credit, Comp 1, Comp 2, college algebra if you're a math oriented person. I still don't know if I want to take college algebra.
I would suggest it. It's not all that bad, but I would definitely say go ahead and get Comp 1 and Comp 2 out of the way, because I have talked to people that are having to take it at university, and they say it is incredibly difficult. And I did mine with Northwest, and it was pretty easy. I'm gonna be honest. The only thing about doing 2 years at a community college first, which is a completely viable option, if you want to do that, go for it. I would not. I wouldn't mind doing something like that. But I chose to do ROTC, and I couldn't do that through Northwest. So the only thing about that would prevent you from being able to do something like a 2 years at Northwest and 2 years somewhere else is if you're looking for sports or a specific organization that you can't do unless you're at a university. But I would 100% support going to a community college first.
Yeah. And then I believe with your first year at Northwest, you have to live on campus, but that might just be for sports.
In Mississippi State, you are required. Freshmen will have to stay in a dorm their first year. So just be ready for that. Like I said, I haven't had a bad experience with it. Me and my roommate are really cool. If you do choose to go to, just some friendly advice, if you do choose to go to Mississippi State, make sure you have an umbrella, and a nice umbrella, and a raincoat. It rains so much in Starkville. I don't know why, but it rains a lot. At least every other week it has been raining. At least.
Yeah, we just got through some pretty bad rain up here about a week ago. 2 weeks ago.
It gets pretty heavy there. I've literally had to walk to class in khakis and a polo and dress shoes for ROTC in the rain, like pouring rain. It was not light rain, pouring rain.
Food. How does food work?
All right, so food, I'm not sure how it works at other colleges, but I'm pretty sure it generally works the same way. So I know you have flex bucks or flex dollars, and you have block meals. Block meals are basically what you're going to use at like the cafeterias. So for state, you have Perry, Fresh, and Templeton. I've heard Templeton's really good. I haven't got the chance to eat there yet. Fresh is great. But flex bucks you can use at like the on-campus restaurants, and something they don't exactly tell you and you have to read for it. You can use the block meals at on-campus restaurants during certain times of the day. Hint, hint. If you go to Subway during those times, which is like 4 to 10, I think, you can get a whole 6-inch sub for free using a block meal. And most freshmen, no, I think all freshmen are required to have the unlimited block meals their freshman year. So you have unlimited block meals. You get 150 flex dollars, which you can recharge, but of course it costs money. But you can get basically a free 6-inch sub from Subway.
So what are block meals? Like, do you just get, like, have like a card or something, and then you go to the restaurant that's like on or around campus, and you use the card and it just works like cash does?
Yeah, so that actually brings me to another point. Mississippi State is big into in attendance, so I'm going to cover up most of my information on here. But you'll have your student ID, and you use this to make sure you're in class. So you'll have like scanners on the wall that you'll have to use, or that you'll have to scan your card on, so it'll show that you're there. Anytime you're using a block meal or flex dollars, you have to scan your card. Anytime you're getting a package, make sure you have your card, because most of the time they're going to ask for it. Basically, you just always want to keep your card on you. But your card keeps up with how many block meals you have, how many flex dollars you have. That's how they take attendance. Most of the time they won't just call roll unless the scanners are down. So your ID card is very important at State. Transportation.
Oh yeah. So I know you have a car, but I also know that at the moment, with all like how busy you are in college, you're not currently working. I don't mean to expose you like that, but
There you go.
So how do you keep up with like transportation and gas in your car? And like, I know you walk to class too, but I know you got other places that you go.
So most of the time, I really like throughout the week I won't drive. Like I'll only drive on the weekends. unless like I have to go somewhere, like if I need to get something dry cleaned or if I had to go grocery shopping, I'll drive. But generally, I'm always walking to class. Now, one thing I'm going to end up getting, and something I would suggest other people look into, a bike or a longboard or a skateboard or a scooter, electric scooter, something for transportation. It will save you so much time. The same time or the same distance it takes me to walk in 10, actually we're gonna go with 15 minutes. My friend can longboard on his electric longboard that same distance in about 4 minutes. It can save you so much time if you're on a packed schedule.
That is a lot of time, because that 15 minutes adds up throughout the day, so that ends up at the end of the day, that ends up being an extra 30 minutes.
Exactly. It helps out a lot. I'm planning on trying to get an electric longboard as well. I used to longboard a little bit, so I'm hoping it won't be too hard for me to pick up, but it has been a very long time.
That made another question come to my head. Okay, I know you got those block meals, and I know you have those flex bucks, but in your dorm room, food.
You'll have a fridge. You'll have a microwave.
So is it one per person or one per room of each?
One per room, but it's like a full-size microwave and a full-size fridge. You have your fridge and freezer. I should make that known.
I thought you were talking about like a mini fridge. I was like,
no, it's a full-size fridge that you might have at your house with a freezer on the top, and you'll have your microwave. I have sandwich meats that I'll keep in there, and then I have like a little bin that I'll keep under my bed. I'll go over that in a second. But that bin, I keep all of like my non-perishable foods, so like
ramen noodles.
Actually, my roommate gets those all the time, and he doesn't mind if I eat them. But I really don't eat too many of them. Every now and then I might eat them.
Yeah.
I've actually lost 15 pounds since I've been down there. If you don't know about what the freshman 15 is yet, I'll educate you real quick. Generally, don't know why, it's a stereotype, freshmen gain around 15 pounds their freshman year.
And you lost 15 pounds.
I have lost 15 pounds so far, and I'm halfway through our semester. I'm on the track by the end of the year. If I kept going like this, I'd end up losing 60 pounds. That's not going to happen. That's not completely healthy.
That's not healthy. All you drink is
lose 60 pounds.
All you drink is coffee and water.
Yeah. So I guess this is kind of turning into an update on me, but I've completely cut out like all sodas in my diet. I'll only drink water. I'll have a cup of coffee in the morning. I've changed my diet. I eat healthier. I cut down my portions, and I generally feel better and like more energetic.
Yeah. You have like different types of dorm rooms?
Yeah, there's different types of dorm rooms. I guess I should be saying it on here. But yeah, so there's different types of dorm rooms. You have standard. They're going to be smaller most of the time. I know when my sister went to state, she had to share like a wardrobe type thing with her roommate, so they could only have so many clothes. Me and my roommate have a deluxe double, which is basically just a deluxe standard. It is a bigger room, and we each have our own closet, and it's a
decent,
generally nice size closet. Like you can hold a lot in there. But then you get into like quads, and quads are like 4-bedroom apartments basically with a full kitchen in them.
How many people go into a quad?
4.
4?
Mm-hmm.
Bet.
But there's one more as well. I can't remember exactly what it is, but I mean, there's a decent selection for rooms. I didn't even mean to get in a deluxe room, but it just so happened that I did. It was the last room with a private bathroom, so I wasn't gonna pass up on it.
So you have a private bathroom versus the dorm bathrooms.
Mm-hmm.
Nice.
So, in the new construction buildings in state, so that's like Mosley, which is the dorm room or dorm hall I'm in, Oak, and Magnolia. There may be 1 or 2 more. I'm pretty sure Griffiths has them. I'm not sure about the other ones though. But the other ones will have community bathrooms. Like I know Crestwell has community bathrooms. I'm pretty sure McKee has community bathrooms. But I was personally looking specifically for a private bathroom just because it's a bit more sanitary and COVID is still a thing.
Yes.
Just throwing that out there. So I wanted a private bathroom, and that was my main goal.
Yeah. So essentially, what we're getting from this whole interview thing is that look into the colleges that you want to go to. Make sure they align with your interests. Make sure they have your majors. Make sure they'll accept your ACT scores or your SAT or PSAT scores. Make sure you know what tests you need to be taking. Juniors, sophomores, freshmen, seniors, I think it's already too late for you guys, except for your ACT. But you should be probably finishing up those applications probably around now because it's October.
You should have already started your applications.
Yeah, you should
first off.
Already started. Should be almost done. You should finish around Christmas, right?
Roughly. I got a couple of mine in later.
Yeah. Before
semester,
next year, you have to apply before the year that you plan to attend, right? I think. I think it depends.
So there's specific dates like early applicants and then like regular applicants and then cutoff when you can't apply anymore. So I know state was one of the first ones that I applied to. I think the first 3 I applied to was in order. I think it was Ole Miss, Southern Miss, and Mississippi State, if I'm not mistaken.
Did you get accepted to all of them, or?
Yeah, so I applied to Ole Miss, Southern Miss, Mississippi State, Memphis. And I think I applied to one more, but I don't remember what it was. No, I actually didn't. I didn't even want to go to Georgia.
I thought you wanted to go to college in Georgia.
I want to move back to Georgia eventually, but I didn't want to go to college in Georgia. But yeah, I got accepted to all of them. But I chose state because financially it was better.
Yeah.
They gave me a better offer, and I mean, it's a nice campus. I personally like state.
So this is gonna be my last question because this is a question for me. College applications, how do those work?
It's actually, I mean,
it's easy or is it hard?
It's time consuming, but it's pretty simple for the most part. So, I mean, literally just look up the college you want and then put, what's the word I'm looking for? The college you are looking for and then application. I don't know why it took me so long to think of that word, but just say you were wanting to apply to state. Mississippi State University application. And then it'll be one of the first things you find. Start applying. You may end up, I think you have to set up an account for the majority of colleges.
Yeah.
And then you just follow step by step. Like most of them will literally have it step by step, what you need to fill out.
Okay.
Emergency contacts, you'll have to put that kind of stuff in there.
And then college, is there an essay that you have to do between going to college or between your senior year and going to college? Because I heard that you have to write a college essay. I don't know where I got that from, but I don't know if it's still a thing.
Some colleges do require you to write an essay. However, some colleges that do require you to write an essay will also pick some people that don't have to. So for Memphis and or U of M and Southern Miss, I didn't have to write an essay, but there were others that were required to. Like, you'll get this packet in the thing. I think from the Southern Miss one that I got, I think it was called the golden ticket, and then the Memphis one was something like that, and it'll tell you what you need to do, what you need to submit, where you need to go. Most of the time it'll already have an account set up for you, because most of the time they'll already have your email. They'll give you a generic password, you can change it, and then you'll just go in and start your application. And those two colleges exempt me from having to write an essay. But I don't think I ever wrote an essay for state, and I wasn't picked for a program like that.
So you only have to write the essay if you're trying to get into a program, or
no? Basically it just boils down to some colleges want you to, and some colleges don't require you to.
Okay. I think we're gonna cut it off here. I hope anybody watching this, if it even gets watched, I hope it does. I hope y'all got all the information you needed. Look into things now. Freshmen, sophomores, I'm talking to you. Juniors, if you haven't already started, start. Look up things you need to do. I've already started considering what colleges I want to go to. Look up different scholarships now so that you know to apply for them.
Scholarships. Go ahead and start applying for them.
Wait,
as soon as possible.
Mm.
As soon as you can. If there's ones that apply to juniors that juniors can sign up for, I would go ahead and start signing up for them.
Probably gonna sign up when I'm a senior for them.
Seniors, you should have already started signing up for scholarships.
Been started.
Hands down.
FAFSA. I keep calling it a FAFSA, but
it
FAFSA.
Is. So actually,
FAFSA?
it is FAFSA.
FAFSA.
But properly, it's FAFSA.
FAFSA. Anyway,
but everybody just says FAFSA. That's just
FAFSA. Do your FAFSA. Sign up for financial aid. Like, get what you need to get done. Scholarships.
That's what the FAFSA's for.
Or yeah, that's what it is. It's the same thing. Oh well. Anyway, essentially, just do what you need to do, because if you end up getting financial aid and then you get scholarships too, it doesn't just stop like, okay, my college is paid off. No, because the more scholarships you get, that's money into your pockets.
Just say you get more scholarships than you need to pay everything off. You get to keep that money. That's not money you have to pay back.
You keep it because it's given to you for your academic success.
Yeah. So, I mean, just say you need $11,000 for the semester, and in scholar, that's a lot. That's overshooting. I'm just throwing a number out there, and you get $15,000 in scholarships.
You keep the other $4,000.
You keep the other $4,000.
And $4,000 is a lot of money for a college student.
$4,000 will go a long way, and that is coming from a college student. Trust me, you will make money last. You will figure it out really fast.